Blake Lively fears profound mental health issues are at risk of being leaked amid Justin Baldoni legal drama.
Blake Lively had the kind of life millions scrolled past on Instagram and secretly envied. She was Serena van der Woodsen, the golden-haired queen of Gossip Girl who defined an entire era. That role made her over $7 million and turned her into a household name. By 2024, her film It Ends With Us pulled in $351 million worldwide, and she's married to Ryan Reynolds, creating one of Hollywood's picture-perfect power couples. From the outside, Blake Lively's life was the dream. But peel back the glossy surface, and a darker pattern emerges. Journalists who left her interviews feeling humiliated, co-stars who couldn't stand working with her, controversies so tone-deaf they seemed deliberate, marrying on a slave plantation, using slurs after being warned to stop, mocking a cancer diagnosis just for publicity. The cracks were always there, hidden behind the perfect image.
Hands if you stayed up until midnight waiting for Blake Lively to drop this freaking amendment. Okay, am I the only person with their hands raised? Are you guys just here to plagiarize because you know I went through every line like a complete psycho? This is actually the language from the introduction. It reads this.
But in 2024, the world finally stopped pretending not to see them. To understand how it all fell apart, we have to go back to where it started, where she never had to struggle for any of her achievements. Blake Ellender Brown was born August 25th, 1987 in Tarzana, Los Angeles, to actor-director Ernie Lively, who appeared in over 100 films. All four of her siblings worked in entertainment: Eric, Robin from Teen Witch, Laurie, and Jason from National Lampoon's European Vacation. Her brother Eric connected her with his agent, and by 2005, she'd landed a lead role in The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, which grossed $42 million. But she never auditioned through normal channels. She never struggled for opportunities. The privilege was simply baked in from day one. And when you're handed success without fighting for it, you don't learn humility, you learn entitlement. And that entitlement would show itself almost immediately.
It's just very bizarre. There's a lot of things that he could have talked about, but to reveal that your client has profound mental health issues is very alarming.
In 2007, Blake became Serena van der Woodsen on Gossip Girl, a show that exploded into a cultural phenomenon. Millions fell in love with Serena and Blair's on-screen friendship, but behind the scenes, Blake and Leighton Meester couldn't stand each other. A 2008 New York Magazine report stated they avoided each other like the plague, forcing cast members to pick sides. Producer Joshua Safran even confirmed in 2017 they were never friends, describing Blake as constantly in the moment and social, while Leighton stayed quiet and removed. The tension wasn't just professional discomfort, it was hostile. During one cast panel interview, Blake joked about not wanting to work with a monkey from the books.
Chuck has a matching pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be part of the show, but I can't act with a monkey. And then I got a few of them.
You got a few of them.
Come on, it was a joke.
Then looked directly at Leighton and said, "Well, some of us started in a cage." The room went silent because Leighton's mother had been incarcerated when she gave birth to her. Whether Blake meant it cruelly or just didn't think before speaking, the damage was done. Armie Hammer also experienced Blake's behavior firsthand when he played Serena's love interest for what was supposed to be a longer arc. He appeared in 4 episodes before vanishing from the show. Years later on Watch What Happens Live, when asked about the biggest diva on set, Hammer got visibly uncomfortable and strongly hinted it was Blake, saying it was tough to film and he didn't complete his scheduled episodes. By the time Gossip Girl ended in 2012, Blake was earning $60,000 per episode and had become a household name. But those who worked with her knew the truth, and what she was saying publicly during those same years was about to become a massive problem. Between 2008 and 2012, while Gossip Girl was making her famous, Blake repeatedly used a transphobic slur in published interviews. This wasn't ignorance or a one-time slip, it was a pattern. In a 2008 Nylon TV interview with Layton, she casually dropped it while discussing tabloid rumors. Then, in 2009, Allure published an interview where she said she felt like one because of her height, adding that wearing heels made her feel like a man.
Everybody is dating everyone, everybody hates everyone, everybody's like had tons of plastic surgery and we're actually men and trannies. I mean, it's just like...
Trans Advocate, an online publication, directly warned her that the term was deeply insulting to the transgender community and asked her to stop, but she just ignored them. In 2012, Elle magazine ran an interview where Blake said if she didn't have girls as children, they'd better be that, because she had amazing shoes and bags that needed appreciating. Trans Advocate reached out again, this time more forcefully, reminding her they'd already asked her to stop. Still, no apology, no acknowledgement, no change. These interviews would sit dormant in archives until August 2024, when they resurfaced and went viral. The context made it exponentially worse because it proved she'd been warned twice by advocacy groups and simply didn't care. But her problems with tone deafness were only getting started. On September 9, 2012, Blake married Ryan Reynolds at Boone Hall Plantation in South Carolina, a property featuring 9 slave cabins from 1790 to 1810, historically referred to as Slave Street. They'd found it on Pinterest and chose aesthetics over the horrific history of the site. And their wedding photos went viral immediately, featured in every celebrity magazine, with the slave cabins visible in the background as Blake and Ryan celebrated. Critics called it out right away.
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively are apologizing today for holding their 2012 wedding at a southern plantation. The golden couple tied the knot at Boone Hall in South Carolina, where slaves once lived before the Civil War.
But the backlash stayed relatively contained. Then, in 2018, when Ryan tweeted enthusiastic support for Black Panther, people couldn't ignore the hypocrisy anymore. How do you celebrate Black excellence while having literally married on a plantation? It wasn't until August 2020, after George Floyd's murder sparked a national reckoning with racism, that Ryan finally apologized in a Fast Company interview, calling it a giant mistake. Blake, however, never said a single word about it. In 2019, Pinterest banned plantation wedding photos entirely from their platform, and Blake's silence began to speak louder than any apology could have. But incredibly, the plantation wedding wasn't even her only attempt at romanticizing slavery.
Something we'll always be deeply and unreservedly sorry for. It's impossible to reconcile, the Deadpool star says in a new interview. He explains he and his bride saw the wedding venue on Pinterest and were dazzled by its beauty.
In 2014, Blake launched Preserve, a lifestyle website meant to celebrate artisanal craftsmanship and Southern charm. Within weeks, she published a spread titled Allure of Antebellum, romanticizing the pre-Civil War slavery era, featuring a white woman in elegant clothing on a Southern porch, with copy praising Southern belles for their inherent social distinction and their role in setting style standards. But there was zero mention of slavery, no acknowledgement of what the antebellum period actually meant for millions of Black people living in bondage. Jezebel immediately tore into her, pointing out that inherent social distinction was just a pretty way of saying slave owners who built their wealth on human suffering. Adweek analyzed the site's failure in October 2015 and declared the #1 problem wasn't the overpriced products. It was that the entire brand was tone-deaf. Eventually, Blake shut it down after a year, telling Vogue they'd launched before it was ready, but never mentioned the slavery glorification. The pattern was becoming impossible to miss. Blake cared only about the aesthetics, not the human cost behind them. By 2016, Blake's dismissive attitude toward people she considered beneath her had become an open secret among entertainment journalists. Norwegian reporter Kjersti Flaa walked into what should have been a routine interview for Cafe Society and experienced it firsthand. She opened warmly, congratulating Blake on her pregnancy. "Congrats on your little bump." Blake's face changed. She shot back sarcastically, "Congrats on your little bump." But Flaa wasn't pregnant. She's infertile, which made the comment not just rude but cruel. When Flaa tried to recover by asking about the beautiful period costumes, Blake snapped again, questioning whether anyone would ask men about clothes. Flaw said she would. Then Blake completely ignored her, turning to Parker Posey and discussing male actors' wardrobes while freezing out the journalist who'd asked the question. It was textbook mean girl behavior. Make someone invisible to assert dominance.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
What about my bump?
You've got two nice ones.
And these.
Yeah.
And working in
Everyone
digital.
wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes.
I would.
I love Jesse's
He has some
suits and
beautiful.
how
That's what I'm saying.
he
His
turns
wardrobe
it-
was
oh, I
beautiful.
know.
Flaw held onto the footage for 8 years, terrified of being blacklisted by Blake's team, by the studio, by the entire system that protects powerful actors and punishes journalists who make them look bad. When she finally posted it in August 2024 with the title, "The Blake Lively Interview That Made Me Want to Quit My Job," it exploded to 6 million views in days. Suddenly, everyone was paying attention to what journalists had known for years. But the scandals would just keep coming. In 2018, Blake starred in A Simple Favor with Anna Kendrick, and rumors of tension surfaced immediately. Industry whispers suggested Anna had criticized Taylor Swift's fan interaction style in 2016, and Blake, as Swift's fiercely loyal best friend, took it personally. During the press tour, the awkwardness was undeniable. In one BuzzFeed video, Anna joked she decided to hate Blake the day she showed up extremely late to set while Anna waited for hours. The Celebrity Memoir Book Club podcast would also later on share unverified claims from someone alleging studio employment, stating the actresses weren't speaking by the end of filming. Despite everything, they announced a sequel in 2022, proving that, in Hollywood, box office potential trumps personal animosity every single time. Then came March 2024, and Blake made what might be her most tone-deaf mistake yet. On March 10th, Kate Middleton posted a Mother's Day photo that the Associated Press pulled for digital manipulation. The princess had been absent since January following abdominal surgery, and conspiracy theories about her health were running wild. 3 days later, Blake posted a Betty Buzz ad featuring an obviously photoshopped image of herself with mismatched hands and floating lemons, captioned, "Now you know why I've been MIA." She was directly mocking Kate's situation. The Betty Buzz account even commented, "Haters will say it's Photoshop," treating a woman's medical crisis like a marketing opportunity. 9 days later, Kate released an emotional video revealing she had cancer and was undergoing chemotherapy. Blake posted a mortified apology within hours and deleted the ad, but it was too late. She'd mocked a woman battling cancer for clicks and product promotion, proving she'd learned absolutely nothing from 15 years of similar disasters. But nothing compared to what happened in August 2024. It Ends With Us should have been Blake's victory lap. The film about domestic violence and breaking cycles of abuse earned $351 million worldwide, with Blake as both star and producer. But instead, she promoted it like a romantic comedy, telling audiences to grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to see a movie about abuse.
Naked truths aren't always pretty.
But Blake Lively's out for truths in her It Ends With Us lawsuit. So much so, the actress added an ex-CIA agent to her legal team.
We love our job and we love our work and we take it very, very seriously.
She went on to push her hair care line and beverages during interviews meant to discuss domestic violence. She even wore Britney Spears' sparkly Versace dress to the premiere. Meanwhile, director and co-star Justin Baldoni was conspicuously absent from all joint press, didn't take photos with the cast, and the entire cast had unfollowed him on Instagram. Author Colleen Hoover also sided with Blake, introducing the film at the premiere instead of Baldoni. Something had fractured badly. But when the public had to choose sides based on past behavior, they overwhelmingly chose against Blake. Every old controversy came roaring back. The Kirsty Flaw video that went viral with 6 million views, the transphobic slurs from 2008 to 2012, the plantation wedding. At the London premiere, A fan approached Blake with a handmade friendship bracelet. Blake looked at it and said it didn't match her outfit, handing it to an assistant instead. Moments later, co-star Isabella Ferrer received a similar bracelet and immediately put it on, squealing with genuine gratitude. The viral comparison video said everything about the difference between Blake and everyone else. Then the bombshell dropped that changed everything. On December 20th, 2024, Blake filed an 80-page complaint with California's Civil Rights Department, alleging sexual harassment by Justin Baldoni and producer Jamie Heath. The allegations were serious, showing her inappropriate videos discussing alleged adult content addictions, commenting on her weight after childbirth, invading her space while breastfeeding, unscripted physical contact, and adding unauthorized intimate scenes. One allegation became particularly contentious. Blake claimed Baldoni body-shamed her by asking about her weight. Baldoni's team countered that he has chronic back problems and needed to prepare safely to lift her in romantic scenes. Two completely different interpretations of the same conversation. The complaint also detailed a January 4th, 2024 meeting during production where Ryan Reynolds attended as Blake's representative despite having no official role on the film.
You've been following the Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively thing?
Bro, Blake Lively, talk about ruin your reputation, and Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, they up. Ryan's trying to get out of it now. He's trying to get out of the lawsuit, and they're like, you were a key part of this.
This is what you get, though. This is what you get.
Blake presented demands, including requiring an intimacy coordinator. Baldoni and Heath agreed to everything, but Ryan's involvement went deeper. Blake's lawsuit revealed Ryan had written a scene without credit, inserting himself into a production he wasn't hired for. The power dynamic was stark. Blake and Ryan, worth $380 million combined, versus Baldoni's small production company, Wayfarer Studios. Blake's complaint alleged that, after she spoke up, Baldoni hired crisis PR specialist Melissa Nathan in August 2024 to orchestrate a smear campaign. Nathan had worked Johnny Depp's defamation case against Amber Heard, specializing in rehabilitating men accused of misconduct by women. Text messages showed publicists discussing how Baldoni wanted to bury Blake. The alleged campaign used fake social media accounts and planted negative stories. The New York Times published "We Can Bury Anyone" inside a Hollywood smear machine, detailing everything. Then, on December 31st, Blake filed a federal lawsuit. Baldoni hit back harder than anyone expected. In January 2025, he countersued for $400 million, claiming Blake and Ryan had orchestrated their own smear campaign against him. He alleged Blake seized creative control, commissioning her own cut using the Deadpool editor. Two versions existed, Baldoni's director's cut and Blake's producer's cut. Sony chose Blake's version for theaters. Baldoni claimed Ryan called his agent at WME, one of Hollywood's most powerful agencies, demanding they drop Baldoni as a client. The lawsuit also named Blake's publicist, Leslie Sloan, who'd previously represented Harvey Weinstein. The irony was impossible to miss. The same PR machinery that once protected Weinstein was now weaponized in a completely different battle. Baldoni went on to release a 10-minute behind-the-scenes video claiming it proved his innocence. But Blake's lawyers said it actually corroborated her allegations, showing unwanted contact that made her uncomfortable.
It's my favourite story, I think, in showbiz this year. The Justin Baldoni war with Blake Lively, which seems to me, initially I felt quite sorry for Blake Lively, then I've been reading all the messages between them all, and which he's been putting out, obviously, and it just seems like a pair of absolute weapons-grade narcissists.
The legal war expanded rapidly. Blake's team subpoenaed phone carriers and Google for evidence. Most controversially, they subpoenaed Kirsty Flaw, apparently believing Baldoni's team had paid her to post the viral interview. Flaw spoke out publicly, describing feeling powerless and demanding an apology. No evidence ever linked her to anything. She'd simply posted an uncomfortable interview from 2016 because she was tired of Hollywood's dismissive treatment of journalists. Jed Wallace, a social media strategist Blake accused of orchestrating attacks, sued her for $7 million in defamation. In June 2025, Judge Louis Lehman dismissed both Baldoni's $400 million lawsuit and his $250 million New York Times suit. Blake won legally, but public opinion stayed bitterly divided. Crisis PR experts argued she'd played everything wrong, that she should have owned her documented problematic behavior instead of deflecting blame onto a conspiracy. Some supported her as a legitimate harassment victim. Others saw her weaponizing Me Too for reputation repair. In April 2025, Time named her one of the 100 most influential people. Thousands signed a petition demanding they rescind it. The trial was set for May 18, 2026. Blake Lively was handed every advantage: beauty, connections, opportunities, wealth, and a powerful partner. But 15 years of documented behavior told one consistent story: the plantation wedding, the repeated slurs after direct warnings, the dismissive treatment of journalists, the feuds with Leighton Meester and Anna Kendrick, the mockery of Kate Middleton's cancer, the tone-deaf promotion of a domestic violence film. Whether Baldoni's allegations are true doesn't erase what's thoroughly documented. Blake didn't get cancelled by coordinated attacks or manufactured outrage. She built her own downfall, one entitled moment at a time, until the accumulated weight crushed the carefully maintained image. The public simply started paying attention to what was always there, hiding behind Instagram posts and red carpet glamour. So here's the question. In an industry that creates and protects people like Blake Lively for decades, how many others are just one viral video away from the exact same reckoning?